Griffin, thanks for stopping by here. I wanted to give you a tour of, well, if not my favorite Walmart, then certainly the most terrifying Walmart
I mean,
that
that
I've.
is a Walmart. I mean, it might be a Lowe's, but it kind of has a Walmart feel. It's actually pretty small for a Walmart now that I look at it.
Oh, you know what? This might be like a Lowe's
It's
vibe. Is there
Lowe's, yeah.
home betterment depository? You see? Okay, all right.
Do you want to tell me what game we're playing though?
What we're playing is H1Z1, which is just released into early access on Steam, and it's from Sony Online Entertainment. And this is very clearly going at your survival zombie apocalypse genre. It's essentially an MMO.
I gotta tell you, in a zombie apocalypse scenario, Lowe's is the first place I go. I think a lot of stuff in there that you can use. I'm assuming that there's going to be enemies in there though, right?
Well, very few zombies, and I think we're about to find out why there are so few zombies, because this is actually one of the more terrifying player encounters that I've run across, and not terrifying in that the other player was dangerous, but I did a bad thing, Griffin.
What did you do? Did you become the monster?
I kind of did.
Oh, he's trying to talk to you. What's he saying?
He's not saying anything. I'm telling him to drop his weapon. He doesn't drop his weapon. He starts running. I don't know where he's going. I had to do it, Griffin.
This dude is just looking for some PVC piping.
Well, not anymore.
Oh, Charlie.
I killed him. I shot him in the back.
You killed him dead.
Very much so. Ross.
So is he gonna wake?
Gone.
Is he gonna wake up naked on a beach or something now?
Pretty
did you get
much.
Did you get some sweet loot though?
I killed a man for length of pipe, an empty bottle.
I told you, dog. He
Wow,
was just
coffee.
trying to get some PVC. He went to the Lowe's because he had a leak in his basement. You should feel terrible about yourself. So is that sort of where does this land on the like Daisy Rust spectrum? Like, because I feel like one of the big sort of determining factors between these sorts of games now is like how big an emphasis it places on PvE stuff and how much of an emphasis it places on just like straight up murdering everyone.
Well, it's comfortably between, I think, the Rust and the Daisy ends of the spectrum, and the way it handles that is it takes essentially.
Oh,
Yeah, he
wow!
was
You
really
just
good.
are you an arthropod? You just kind of, you just kind of flopped to death there.
He beat me so hard that my spine cracked in half.
Yikes.
It takes a lot of the crafting elements that made Rust so much fun for players, but it inserts a lot of that wide open environment that made DayZ so popular for players, and it reaches a very happy medium, where the controversy is really coming in this game in its current very early form is with these airdrops, and that's what I've called in right here. Have you heard about what's going on with these airdrops?
No, I know almost nothing about H1Z1. I do know that that is a DayZ or a Rust thing. I haven't played enough DayZ to know whether that's a thing in that game too. But
All right, well, tell me how the airdrops work in Rust real quick if you can.
it looks like the same way that they happen here. In old Rust, you could craft an item that would summon one. Otherwise, they would just like show up on certain servers every like I don't know hour or so.
Well, here in H1Z1, you buy them.
Okay.
That is one of the monetization models.
Oh,
where-
with actual Earth Cash.
Oh, yes, with Sony Station Cash that you buy with your Earth Cash. So I got 3 free when I got the game. I think everybody does. And so this is one that I called in. There's some oddity here.
What
with
is
the-
what is going on?
This is what happens with early access games, right? So the crate landed, it exploded. I'm fighting another player for the crate, but inside the crate was a good dozen zombies that are trying to eat me currently.
It doesn't look like they're doing an especially good job.
They are not. So I'm pretty much taking everything that's in the crate. The other player that's here is beating on the zombies or beating on the crate or something. And yeah, I'm just getting away scot-free. So this worked out very well to my benefit. But
Okay, but you can spend real ass money on these crates, and there's no guarantee that you'll actually get them.
no, because it's up for grabs. It lands. It takes like a minute or two for the thing to land. It's blinking. It's got this giant column of green smoke. People come running for miles, and it's a melee for these crates that you paid for.
That's bizarre, man.
It's very bizarre.
That seems like it's just like nobody's gonna want to buy those.
Well, and one of the ways to get the best loot, because all these crates, right, they're filled with very good loot in my experience. Military weapons, backpacks, ammunition, stuff like that.
But if you die, you lose all that stuff anyway, right?
You do, but a great way to get this stuff is just to wait for a plane to pass over by and run them down.
somebody else is playing. It could be even.
Oh yeah, that's
Um,
that's the way to make money. So this is actually my brother Steve. He's big into this game so far, and has actually probably successfully logged a few more hours than I have. He rolls around with a big clan full of people, and this is one of their base encampments that he's showing me around here, way off in the woods, on one of the servers. I won't say which server it is to
that's
protect
probably
it
for
for
the best.
anonymity.
Yeah.
But we're going to get into some of the crafting stuff here that H1Z1 allows. So these are animal traps. You can build animal traps, you can leave them out in the wilderness, and they're persistent. Even after you die, those traps that you've set remain, and you can take a fresh spawn and go pull some meat off of those traps. You could build structures like this and essentially build up a little encampment for yourself with decks.
Are the walls and like is the entire structure here player made? Are like the
No,
walls built by put? No. Okay.
no. The brick walls are not player made. I believe the barbed wire is player made. That shack is player made.
So you basically found this structure, or they found this structure and just like posted up.
Yes, they've reinforced it, and they've added a well with stagnant water that they can drink, and they've added these traps so they can kind of come here and get some food when they spawn into the game.
Interesting.
So one of the survival mechanics here is you actually really need to craft things from raw elements, sticks and twigs and scraps of your own clothing. I've made a bow drill here, and I'm actually going to use that bow drill to start a fire in a campfire and cook some of this rabbit meat for myself.
Mm. How complex would you say it is? Because I think that's also sort of another determining factor where I think the reason I got into Rust a lot more than I got into DayZ was just Rust is, I feel like, a lot simpler, a lot more accessible than DayZ is. Where does this land on the spectrum?
As far as the crafting spectrum, it seems to be a little more realistic than Rust was. Rust seemed a little farcical, I feel.
Well, yeah,
in
you
the
could
way
hit a rock until a gun came out of it, basically.
and this is very much more true to life. I think they've taken some inspiration from those crazy folks on cable that do all their survival programs, and they're trying to apply some real world things to it. Because they've added things like these crafting elements where you can make a bow drill and make a fire, and you can make a ground tamper to flatten ground to build a structure, and you get a tarp and you can collect rainwater and so on and so forth. They're really
That's kind
trying
of
to
cool.
they're trying to add a bit of realism to it.
Is that guy just running around with his hands up?
That is kind of a good way to go about it. Shows people that you're not a threat to them, that you're not armed, and you're less likely to get your face shot off.
Yeah, God, I don't know, dude. Like my experience playing these sorts of games, like there is nothing you can do to stop somebody from murdering you in cold blood.
One of the bugs that they're experiencing right now that they actually tried to clear just last night and didn't do so successfully. There's no loot, Griffin. So you reach into a filing cabinet, you reach into a cubicle, you reach into anything in the world, and it's empty. It's always empty.
Wow, what a shitty bug.
It's pretty shitty right now. So honestly, the
That's
only
like
way
the
to
game is like running around and scavenging and getting loot and stuff, right?
yes. So
Okay.
that's being fixed right now. Hopefully that'll get fixed today. But look at how much opportunity for loot spawn there is in just one of these structures.
If it existed, if it
If
was
it existed.
real. Yeah.
But this is not something you get from a game like DayZ, and it's not something you get from a game like Rust. These
Yeah,
are
that's
really,
very scarce. Yeah.
yeah, these are really well crafted, large spaces. We're actually in kind of a basement area, which is not something you can do within the engine that DayZ is built on. You
Yeah,
can't go
sure.
below ground even. So I've really been impressed with the structures so far. The world map, though, it's kind of small.
Hmm.
The scale of each individual structure is larger. There's more to do inside each one. But compared to something like Chernaris and DayZ, this is one or two towns slapped together in that
So
map.
we don't have a lot of time left. How is like the early accessness of the game? Because obviously that bug is pretty bad, and I know that there were some pretty rough launch day issues. But is it fairly playable?
I would have to say right now in its current state, no. I just can't really recommend this to folks right now until another couple of patches come through. There's already a big community surrounding it, though, and
Yeah.
Sony's doing a good job of communicating with that community and keeping them informed.
Whoa.
Yeah, this gets a little hairy, but right now I think it's best to kind of keep your money in your wallet and wait for better news on this.
Don't go out there. What do you? Yeah. Well, that's on you.
Yeah, that is on me. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes, Griffin.